Assalamualaikum and good evening. You're now with me, Shukri for TVS Nightline. We start off with this news. Last year's major floods have become a wake-up call for the Sarawak government to step up flood preparedness this year with a strong focus on victims' welfare and the readiness of temporary evacuation centres. Deputy Premier Dato' Amar Douglas Ugahambah says the state government, through the Sarawak State Disaster Management Committee SDMC, has directed all divisional and district authorities led by resident and district officers to be on full standby since December.
We are reminding them again, review all their position, especially mengenai kesiapan on the PPS, Pusat Pemindahan Sementara. Tentukan dia bersih, tentukan dia ada kemudahan seperti toilet dan sebagainya. And bagi welfare department, they are also already on standby dengan makanan-makanan dan peralatan-peralatan yang diperlu. They have main supply base di Kota Semerahan dan berapa lagi tempat mini supply base, dan di beberapa bandar dia ada pembekal-pembekal yang dia orang dah lantik untuk membekal barang-barang yang diperlukan untuk menentukan mangsa-mangsa yang dipindah ke pusat pemindahan sementara ini to be as convenient as possible.
Uga adds that the State Health Department has been directed to carry out health checks at every temporary evacuation centre as soon as evacuees arrive to ensure all safety and health SOPs are strictly followed. As SDMC chairman, Uga is urging the public to move immediately when evacuation orders are issued, warning that water levels can rise rapidly in a very short time.
We have witnessed how the water rise so fast in Bintulu early last year, and when it rises so fast, then it is very difficult to ensure that everybody will be safe. Walau bagaimanapun, anggota-anggota kita memang dah mempunyai pengalaman, and so the public, I appeal to the public and to the leaders, please cooperate with this agency supaya tidak ada perkara-perkara yang tidak diingini berlaku di mana-mana tempat.
The public is also urged to stay on high alert throughout the entire northeast monsoon season without relying on specific dates.
On flood watch, the number of flood victims in Sarawak rose sharply this afternoon. Several affected areas included Taman Desa Wira, Kampung Sinar Budi Baru, Kampung Sungai Batu, Kampung Surih Iban, Taman Malihah and Kampung Sejijak. The Sarawak Disaster Management Committee says 6 temporary evacuation centres remain active, sheltering 791 victims from 204 families whose homes were inundated by the current weather. The number of victims have doubled from 348 people in the morning. Days of unyielding rain have turned quiet villages on the outskirts of Kuching into flood zones as rising waters creep into homes and cut off vital roads. In Kampung Sinar Budi, residents are bracing for more rain while authorities prepare evacuation plans should the situation worsen. A resident, Zahari Zaidi, says floodwaters began entering his home at around midnight following continuous rain since Wednesday.
Hari ketiga. Banjir tu naik start pukul 12 malam tadi. Cun-cun 12 malam, rumah kami terus masuk air lah. Kami dah bercuci dah mari. Dah bercuci rumah, bersih rumah. Pasal terkejut malam tadi naik air lagi. Tinggi juga lah sengan pinggang kami dalam rumah.
Another victim, Abdul Zahri Jimmy, described this flood as more prolonged compared to 2024. Although last year's flood was worse, the water receded quickly within a day.
Tahun lepas teruk lagi lah. Nah, tapi dia sekejap aja. Tahun lepasnya teruk lagi. 2020, itu 25 ada 24. Tapi nya si lama, nya sehari je. Itu boleh untuk tahun tu boleh jadikan 2 hari lah. Mari lepasnya hari tu nya makin kuat 2 hari je. Tahun lepas dia surut sekejap aja, surut terus.
Meanwhile, a member of the Kampong Sinar Budi Village Committee says early preparations have been made, including accommodating the village hall as a temporary evacuation centre should water levels continue to rise.
Kami orang kampung, JKK Kampung telah bermesyuarat dalam masa 2 minggu lepas lah, memang untuk menyediakan dewan dibuka untuk pemindahan banca banjir lah. Tapi kami orang si jangka awal banjirnya awal tahun lah, biasanya sebelum menjelang tahun baru Cina ataupun selepas tahun baru Cina. Tapi tahun untuknya hujan di ujung tahun lah, yalah. Tapi memang JKK Kampung telah bersedia awal lah untuk menyediakan pusat pemindahan bagi penduduk-penduduk kampung yang berada di kampung dan sebahagiannya mungkin berada di sekitar kawasan itulah.
Meanwhile, in Johor, the number of flood victims in the Segamat district fell to 136 people from 37 families, compared with 159 people this morning, with 5 relief centres still operating. Active relief centres are located in Kampong Batu Badak Community Hall, Kampong Tasik Multipurpose Hall, Kampong Sanglang Community Hall, Kuala Paya Community Hall, and Kampong Tandong Multipurpose Hall. 2 rivers in Segamat were still above the danger level, namely Sungai Muar at Buloh Kasab with a reading of 9.17 meters and the Sungai Tekam Jetty at 4.06 meters. 2 roads were also fully closed, namely Jalan Felda Tenggaroh 3 in Mersing following a landslide and the Kesang Sungai Rambai Bridge in Tangkak due to structural damages. Meanwhile, in Malacca, the flood situation fully recovered when the relief centre at SK Parit Penghulu in Jasin closes at 2 p.m. after all 36 victims from 8 families were allowed to return to their respective homes. On to the next update. Sarawak's tourism sector is showing strong momentum with monthly receipts averaging 1 billion ringgit, though hitting the 5 million visitor target for 2025 remains a tough challenge. State Tourism Minister Datuk Seri Abdul Kabrin Rahman Hamzah says that as of November last year, Sarawak has welcomed 4.42 million tourists, closing in on the year's goal of 5 million arrivals.
Until November, we have hit 4.42 million. I'm not too sure whether we can hit the target. Even if we don't hit the target, it will be just below 5 million. It will just below 5 million. It should not be a problem to us. Even if we don't hit the 5 million, but we have already more or less achieved quite a good achievement, because for the first 11 months, our tourism receipts averaging more than 1 billion per month.
When asked about the 2026 target, Abdul Karim said the new goal will be set once the complete data on arrivals in 2025 is received from the Malaysian Immigration Department.
Now, Malaysia is gearing up for a big influx of international tourists during Visit Malaysia Year, or VMY 2026, with a spotlight on local hospitality and the cleanliness of tourist destinations. Tourism Minister Datuk Seri Tiong King Sing says VMY 2026 won't succeed on government promotion alone. It needs every Malaysian on board.
Kita berharap semua pelancong-pelancong daripada seluruh dunia ini kita boleh meningkat, dan juga kita rakyat Malaysia mesti bersedia menerima pelancong-pelancong daripada seluruh dunia. Jadi saya mintalah semua rakyat, marilah kita bersama-sama membuktikan negara kita, we are very friendly country, and then kita budaya mestilah menunjukkan kita selamat datang pelancong-pelancong daripada seluruh dunia.
He is also urging Malaysians to always be friendly to tourists to maintain Malaysia's image as a safe and harmonious destination. On cleanliness, he stresses that it must be taken seriously as it directly shapes visitors' perceptions and the reputation of the nation's tourism sector.
Now, right after midnight, police intercepted a vehicle in Sarato and uncovered a wanted man with a drug-linked past. District Police Chief DSP Matthew Manji says the team spotted an SUV in a suspicious condition before moving in to stop the vehicle for inspection. The 32-year-old man, Matthew says, was the subject of an arrest warrant issued by SARAWAK court after he failed to attend court proceedings on December 22nd, 2025. A urine test later showed the suspect tested positive for amphetamine and methamphetamine. Background checks also found that he has 2 prior records involving drug offenses. Matthew says the suspect was immediately arrested and taken to the police station for further action, and the case is being investigated under Section 15(1)(a) of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. Malaysia condemns in the strongest terms the Zionist Israel regime's decision to ban and suspend the operations of a large number of international humanitarian aid organizations in Gaza. Wisma Putra says the action is a clear violation of international humanitarian law and will further exacerbate the already dire humanitarian crisis and catastrophe following the regime's more than 2-year conflict against the people of the Palestinian territory.
Wisma Putra says that Malaysia calls on the international community to act decisively to compel Israel to immediately rescind its decision and ensure full and unhindered delivery of humanitarian aid, or it must be held accountable for its violations of international law. Malaysia also reaffirms its unwavering solidarity with the Palestinian people and will continue to advocate for an end to Israeli aggression, the lifting of the siege on Gaza, and the establishment of an independent and sovereign state of Palestine based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital.
On to world news. Several people were killed and others injured when an explosion ripped through a bar in the luxury alpine ski resort town of Crans, Montana. Police say the explosion took place at around 1:30 a.m. in a bar called Les Constellations, which is popular with tourists as revelers rang in the new year.
Précis, des dizaines de personnes sont présumées décédées aujourd'hui au stade à l'heure où je vous parle.
Authorities have provided no immediate details on the cause of the blast or the exact number of victims. Images published by Swiss media showed a building in flames and emergency services nearby.
Wrapping up the Nightline, 2 videos posted by the U.S. military's Southern Command on X show what it says are deadly strikes against alleged drug boats carried out on December 30 and December 31. The U.S. military says 8 people were killed in the new strikes on alleged drug boats, bringing the death toll in Washington's campaign against what it says are narcotic traffickers to at least 115. U.S. Southern Command, which is responsible for American forces operating in Central and South America, announced 2 sets of strikes, which were carried out on Tuesday and Wednesday. 3 narco-trafficking vessels traveling as a convoy were targeted in international waters. 3 narco-terrorists aboard the first vessel were killed in the first engagement. The remaining narco-terrorists abandoned the other 2 vessels, jumping overboard and distancing themselves before follow-on engagements sank their respective vessels. Accompanying the statement posted on X was a video showing the vessels traveling together at sea and then hit by a series of explosions. The exact location of the strikes was not immediately made clear. Previous strikes have taken place in the Caribbean or the Eastern Pacific. Hours later, it issued a second statement about strikes on 2 more vessels conducted on Wednesday, killing 5 people. Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire, a world on your screen, anytime, anywhere. And those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Yusuf Shukri. Thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum, good night and Happy New Year.